Okay, so in this lesson, I'm going to show you how you can request or access financial data about a company in the stock market. So let's create a new variable called F, which is short for financial data. And then we need to use the request namespace or library, inbuilt library. So if you type out request.control space, here we have a bunch of options that we can use to request data about a given symbol or ticker. In this case, we're dealing with financial. So let me click on financial, open up some parentheses, and now we need to pass in a symbol. So right now I am on Tesla. So in this case, I'm just going to say siminfo.ticker ID. And that will just request the financial data of the current market that I am on. The next thing we need to pass in is a financial data ID. Now, I'm not a fundamental stock trader. I don't know very much at all about stock financials, to be perfectly honest with you. But I do know one financial ID that we can put in here. We can try accounts _ payable. And then we have the period that we want to put in here. We have a few options here. We have FQ, which I believe is financial quarter, and FY, which is financial year, and then TTM, which I'm not entirely sure what that is. Let me read the documentation. I'm guessing it's trailing 12 months. That's the first thing that pops up on Google. But anyway, those of you who do trade based on fundamentals and financial data will know more about this than I do. I'm just going to put FY in here for financial year. Then we have a gaps parameter. So this is where we specify what to do about gaps in our data. So for now, I'm going to set bar merge.gaps on, and we'll play around with this parameter in a moment once we get some data drawing onto the chart. So that's all we need in order to get some data. The other two parameters there are optional. Let me get rid of overlay here for a moment, delete the script, save my code and add it to the chart, make sure that compiles. There we go, no problems. Let's plot F onto our chart, see what we get. And there we go, we are plotting the accounts payable for the past financial year. Let me try and see if we get more data drawing here. Yeah, there we go. We get it all the way up to the last financial quarter. And you can see that we're merging the gaps here. If I set bar merge.gaps off, save the script, now we get this stepped line. And once that data changes, it jumps up here. And we keep drawing that. If you set gaps on, then it will average out all of these gaps and you'll just get a steady line drawing up. So there are a few reasons why you might want this to be one or the other. One example is maybe if you're drawing a higher time frame moving average onto your intraday chart, you might want a smoothed moving average. And to achieve that, you could set gaps on, bar merge.gaps on, so we are merging gaps. Or if you want this stepped line that clearly shows you when the data changes and there are gaps in data, just leave it as bar merge.gaps off. Now, beneath this video, I will include a list of all of the financial IDs and data we can request about a company. There are dozens and dozens of things we can request here, so I'm not going to go over all of these. It's pointless. They're all the same. All you need to do is pass in the correct financial ID for whatever it is you are looking to load. So let's try cash and equivalents. Let me copy that and paste that into our financial ID, save the script, and our data changes. Now, a couple of the other parameters we have to work with here are ignore invalid symbol. So by default, if I try to load up let's try and load up Bitcoin and leave this script running, the script will fail to execute. We get this error, runtime error up here because this was not found. This financial data doesn't exist for Bitcoin. If I set that parameter to true, ignore _ invalid _ symbol equals true, and I save the script, the code will now run just fine, but it will be plotting nothing onto the chart. It'll be basically plotting NA basically, instead of the script crashing. So now if I go back to a stock market here, I can show you the final parameter that we have to work with, which is currency. So if you want to, you can override which currency this data is displaying in. So right now we're displaying cash and equivalents. I'd assume by default this is in US dollars. But if you want to, you can change this by overriding it using the currency control space, and you can choose from any of these currencies. So if we want to see what Amazon's cash and equivalents are in the South African Rand, we can click on ZAR here and say the script. This number should change. There we go. If we want to see what their value is in Turkish lira, we can have a look at that, and you get the idea. Anyway, that will do it for the financial function. We can explore this in more detail if you guys really want to. But for those of you who are fundamental traders and use this data in your trading, I'm sure you'll be able to figure out practical and useful ways to use this data. Just reference the table below this video that lists all of the financial IDs that you can work with and the various time frames and so on. Take care, and I'll speak with you in the next lesson.